You know that feeling, right? When you apologize to someone, but it just falls completely flat. Or maybe you're on the receiving end and the words, I'm sorry, feel totally empty. Well, today we're going to get into exactly why that happens and, more importantly, how you can give an apology that actually works. It's just so frustrating, isn't it? You say the words you think you're supposed to say, but you can literally feel the tension in the room get thicker. They're still mad, you're confused, and you're left thinking, what on earth did I do wrong? And this quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head. This is from a real woman named Sarah, and you can just feel her frustration. For her, the simple words, I'm sorry, meant absolutely nothing. She needed something else. But what? Well, that leads us right into this big idea from doctors Gary Chapman and Jennifer Thomas. It turns out that just like we have different love languages, we also have different apology languages. An apology only really lands and leads to forgiveness when it's spoken in the language the other person truly understands. So here's our game plan. We're going to look at why sorry is often not enough. Then we'll break down the 5 apology languages, step by step. We'll cover regret and responsibility, then restitution and planned change, and finally, requesting forgiveness and figuring out your own language. And we'll wrap up with how all this leads to real reconciliation. All right, let's jump right into the framework itself. Think of these 5 languages as the essential building blocks for any apology that's actually going to work, the kind that truly paves the way for healing a relationship. Okay, so here they are at a glance. Expressing regret, accepting responsibility, making restitution, planned change, and requesting forgiveness. Now, each one is a piece of the puzzle, but here's the kicker. For every single one of us, 1 or 2 of these are way more important than the others. That's what we have to figure out. So let's break them down. We're going to start with the first 2 languages. You can think of these as the verbal foundation of an apology. It's all about the words you say and, crucially, the emotion behind them. Okay, language number 1 is probably the one we all think of first, expressing regret. This is the emotional part of the apology. It's about showing the other person that you genuinely feel bad for the pain that you've caused them. The key word here is empathy. If this is someone's primary language, they need to see and feel that you get it, that you understand how your actions hurt them. And your body language has to match your words, you know? Eye contact, a sincere tone, and please, whatever you do, avoid the word but. The second you say, I'm sorry, but you've just turned your apology into an attack. Game over. Now, let's move on to language number 2, which is totally different from the first. This one is accepting responsibility. See, for some people, hearing I'm sorry is just not enough. They need to hear you say, point blank, that you were at fault. For someone who speaks this language, the most powerful 2 words you can say are, I was wrong. That's it. No excuses, no blaming other people or the situation. It shows them that you are mature enough to own your mistake. And for them, that is the absolute prerequisite for forgiveness. Okay, so we've covered the words. Now we're shifting gears to talk about action. The next 2 languages are for people who believe actions speak louder than words. For them, talk is cheap unless you back it up. Language number 3 is all about making restitution. This is for the person who feels like your mistake created a debt and they need to see you try to repay it. It's all about answering the question, how can I make this right? And here is where it gets really, really interesting. The authors found that the best way to make restitution is often by speaking the other person's primary love language. It's a powerful way to show them that you still love them, that the relationship is still valuable to you. So whether it's giving them a compliment, doing a chore for them, buying a small gift, spending quality time, or giving them a hug, this is how you start to rebuild. All right, on to language number 4, planned change. This is for the person whose biggest fear is that you're just going to do the same hurtful thing all over again. To them, an apology is completely meaningless without a real plan to change your behavior. So it's not enough to just say, I promise it won't happen again. You have to show them how. You have to actually spell out your plan. It might sound something like, look, I don't want that to happen again. From now on, when I start to feel that way, here's what I'm going to do instead. That plan shows you're serious about not letting them down again. And that takes us to our final apology language. This one is all about vulnerability. And after we cover this one, we're going to talk about the most practical part, how to figure out which language you and the people you care about actually speak. Language number 5 is requesting forgiveness. Now, this sounds so simple, but wow, it is a huge step that so many of us just skip over. It's the simple, direct act of actually asking the person, "Will you forgive me?" See, asking that question does a few really critical things. First, it admits that what you did was serious enough to require forgiveness. It also shows you want to fully restore the relationship, not just move on. But maybe the most important thing is that it puts the power back in their hands. You're giving up control and making yourself vulnerable. And for many people, that is the ultimate proof that you are sincere. So, why is learning all of this so critical? Well, get ready for this, because this number is kind of wild. The research found that a full 75%, that is 3 out of every 4 couples, have different primary apology languages. Think about that. It means there's a huge chance that you're apologizing in the way you want to be apologized to, which is completely missing the mark for your partner. So, let's make this personal for a second. How do you find your language? Ask yourself this. When someone hurts you, what is the thing that bothers you the most? Is it that they don't seem sorry, or that they won't admit they were wrong? Does it bug you that they don't even try to make it right? Or are you just scared they're going to do it again? Or maybe it's that they never actually ask you to forgive them. Your answer to that question points right to your primary language.
So let's bring all this home, because this isn't just a cool theory for romantic relationships. This is a powerful tool you can use to heal connections with literally everyone in your life: your kids, your friends, your family, even people you work with.
At the end of the day, here's what it all comes down to. A good apology is a skill. It's something we have to learn. And when you take the time to learn and speak the apology language of someone you care about, you're doing so much more than just saying sorry. You are actively rebuilding trust. You're showing them respect, and you're proving that you value the relationship. And that's really what this is all about. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. With this new tool in your toolkit, is there a relationship in your life right now that you could start to heal? Maybe even this week. Who needs to hear an apology from you, spoken in their language? The power to fix things is right there.